What another one? I'm back, folks. Whether you want me to be back or not, I'm here with your Radar Q4 results, end of year results. And typical Flash style, I'm 2 days late. Now, yesterday I was actually out. I was in Burgess Hill, West Sussex, and I was going to film my reaction to it. In the same field, I did the reaction to the last set of figures, and that video got a lot of great feedback. So I thought, thanks, guys. I'm going to do it again. And I'm 2 days late, but here we go. Let's go through the highlights of this set of figures. Kisstory takes over Kiss, having twice as many listening figures. What on earth is going on? Now, I've been through all the forums and stuff, and people seem to think that Kiss is in the toilet and Kisstory is now their main brand. When I was at school, Kiss was the in thing. It was just everyone was Kiss, 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 Kiss. It was like a flipping virus. Disgusting. I was a loyal Radio 1 fan, so I didn't get Kiss. I thought it was a bit too chavvy for my liking. And whatever. I mean, you know, I think it's because they've switched off their FM frequency, but Chris, that's me, Flash, Chris, has dropped from 2.3 million to 1 million listeners. That's a massive drop, and that's just from switching the FM frequency off. Kisstory has got 2.2 million, so that is their main brand now. Going forward, I think it always will be. It's going to be interesting to see with their Channel 4 partnership whether that's going to help them increase their audience. I'm sure it probably will, but we'll see how things go from there. This was a big takeaway, I think, from the highlights. More adults in the United Kingdom now listen to Smooth than they do BBC Radio 1. Why is that? Is Radio 1 just accommodating to kids? Because Radio 1's the only radio station in these audience figures where they talk about 10 plus figures. So we'll see on that one. Nation, I'll come back to Radio 1 in a bit. Nation now has over 1 million listeners. Now, curiosity, I've got to find out what this Nation's all about. I've never heard of it. And they now have over 1 million listeners. So well done to them. But the little bit of research I did have, they took over Wave 105, which for me was one of my first memories of local radio. We used to go to Bournemouth as kids, and I always remember seeing Wave 105 posters everywhere. When I was getting really curious into radio, Wave 105 was one of those big things. It's a shame to see it has gone, but it's now under the Nation band, which I need to do a bit more research in. Please let me know in the comments if you know about Nation. I'd love to know more about it. BBC Radio 2 is up once again. So what I've got to say is you're going to really upset the Daily Moan crybaby readers. The Daily Mail readers are going to be disgusted that Radio 2 continues to increase. They have secured over 13.6 million weekly listeners. It is the UK's #1 radio station. And well done to them. I think Radio 2 personally is brilliant. I'm going to do another episode specifically about Radio 2 and try and look at the Daily Moan side of things and the positives of the station. So stay tuned for that. And Vernon has now over 7 million listeners, and fantastic. Well done, Vernon. He does a great job on mid-mornings. He's the most listened to radio show in the country now. Well done, Vern. And I'm pleased for him and pleased for the station as a whole. Let me know in the comments if you're not happy with it. Heart remains the biggest commercial radio station with over 10 million, followed by Greatest Hits Radio at 7.5 million, and Capital has 7.4. Now, this is where I need to, probably for the next one, I'm going to have to do proper research on this. But I also saw Heart has 13 million, so I'm guessing that's The main station and the regional bits and bobs. I don't listen to Heart, so I don't know. Well, let me know in the comments. BBC local radio stations has over 7 million despite all the cuts they've had coming through. So that's good for BBC local radio. Smooth has a record-breaking 7.8 million. We were talking Smooth at the start. I like Smooth. I prefer Smooth to Magic, to be honest. Both very similar radio stations, but part of a global banner, aren't they? So, right. I said I'd never do a chart again. I'm not doing the chart music, but I'm going to run through your debuts. There's a lot of debuting radio stations. Let me just have a quick sip of coffee. I'm going to head up to number 1. I think it's the top 16 or 17, so I'm not going to do numbers. Right. Radio X Chilled debuts in the radio industry with 129,000 listeners, the same as Radio X 90s, 129,000 listeners. Radio X Naughties secures 133,000. Heart Musicals has 134,000. Classic FM Movies, I didn't know this existed. I'm going to have to check this out. Sounds really good. 154,000. Heart Love, 201,000. Smooth Soul, 206,000. Centre Force, 883. Please tell me what that is. 215,000. Classic FM Calm. No, not all classical music is calm, is it? It's quite dramatic. It's 238,000. Heart Tens has 292,000. Smooth 70s, 317,000. Greatest Hits Radio 60s, 386,000. Capital Anthems, 440,000. Nation 80s, here they are, Nation, have over 500,000 listeners at 505,000. Kistery R&B, so that's another brand to the Kistery brand. Brand adaptation. Kistery R&B has 530,000. Kiss Dance has 700,000. Wow. And Smooth 80s is your number 1 debut radio station with over 500,000. Well, where is it? Hang on. No, I've got it wrong. Silly idiot. Kiss Dance is number 1. Smooth 80s. I think I've already mentioned it, haven't I? No, Smooth Soul. Smooth 70s. Smooth 80s has got over 500,000, but Kiss Dance is number 1 with 700,000. No edits here, folks. A total of 50.2 million listen to radio weekly, with commercial hitting 54% and the BBC 44%. Now, I said it in the last one, I think it's fantastic that radio gets 50 million listeners. I still think it can get even more. I think it will get bigger. Its popularity is rising once again, and I'm really pleased for it, because radio is, for me, it's the best. You don't get better than radio. There's just a lot. There's a lot of mediocre radio out there. Hits Radio now gets 4.7 million after replacing several local stations. Excuse me. Capital Dance hits a brand new high at 1.17 million. That is the UK's most listened to dance station. Well done to them. I do like Mr. Jam on Capital Dance. Radio X London has lost 26%, down to 426,000. Where have they gone? I think Moyles is at the point in his career where he doesn't need to worry too much about audience figures. He's got that solid 1 million plus. So well done to him. Absolute Radio Country and Naughties have seen 50% increases. I've listened to Absolute Country and I really enjoy it. TalkSport reaches a record 3.6 million. Well done to them. Virgin Radio Network is down to 2.2 million. However, Virgin Radio Anthems is up to 468,000. There's a lot of anthems. stations and streams now, aren't there? They can get repetitive though. Six Music is the UK's biggest digital station at 2.8 million listeners, despite Nick Grimshaw going over there. Obviously, throughout last year, he was covering for Lauren, and he's now going to be taking over the Breakfast Show permanently at the end of this month, I think. I thought they might have seen a dip, but seem to be on the up. Radio 1 has 7.88 million age 10 plus. Now that 10 plus thing, I think it's becoming a bit of an excuse. Is it not? I don't know. It just... maybe I need to do an episode on Radio 1 and the future of the station. I mean, it's become such a theme of 10 plus. I mean, I'm 35, I love Radio 1, always have done, always will do. But I don't listen to it as much as I used to. I'd have it on all day and night back in the day. So maybe 10 plus year olds. I mean, I've got two 10 plus year olds in this house and they don't listen to the radio at all. So, you know, we'll see how this goes along the way. While we're on Radio 1, I'm going to jump to Breakfast Show numbers now. Greg James. Now, I was going to do a video on this in itself. Please, please, please don't leave. Wednesday, there is a big announcement on the show, but we don't know what it is. I'm hoping it's something to do with Comic Relief Challenge or something like that. Please don't leave us. That's particularly after Aled's comments saying he's on fire and he'll just continue to grow. It was along those lines. Sorry, I should have made a note of it, but Greg is the best of the best at Radio 1, and I honestly think if he left now, the station would plummet, and that would be really sad to see as they head towards their 60th year. So I'm really hoping he's staying put. Zoe Ball, Radio 2, her last set of numbers secures 6.8 million. My prediction going forward is Scott Mills will actually go to 7 plus. But I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. Do you think he's going to lose listeners from what Zoe had? Heart Breakfast remains commercial number 1 with 4.2 million listeners, mostly in Greggs. Every Greggs I go into, they're listening to Heart. Poor folks in Greggs. Capital Breakfast with Jordan, Chris and Sean is on 2.9 million. Jordan has attracted, now I'm saying this, other people are not, but Jordan has attracted nearly 500,000 new listeners to Capital since he joined last April. I've seen the other flip side to it is they have lost numbers and the brand of Capital across their other networks is growing as a whole. So, but I think Jordan has attracted new listeners. He must have done. I'm pretty certain of that. Nick Ferrari LBC has his highest ever ratings at 1.5 million. I should have got a picture with Nick Ferrari. I saw him coming out of the building at Global last year and missed opportunity. Rossi on Greatest Hits Radio has now over 3 million listeners, and Ken Bruce on Mid Mornings has 4. So my prediction of Ken and Vernon smashing through the 11 million listener barrier has happened. Vernon's got 7, Ken's got over 4. So well done, folks. Radio is booming and I'm enjoying it, and I could go on and on about every single radio station, but I thought I'd go with some of those that I actually do listen to. I really want to go and check out Nation, see what it's all about. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the latest set of radio listening figures. Radars is always the radio nerd in me comes out, and I absolutely love it. And I'm buzzing to be back in the radio industry in my own silly way, my own format. I'm loving being at Reach on air, and thanks to the guys over there, it's been brilliant. So, plenty more radio stuff coming up. I'm going to do I keep promising it, my review of Radio 1's weekend schedule. I'm going to do that video about Radio 2 and where it is. it's going to be a talking point, I'm sure. And yeah, hopefully I don't have to do a video about Greg James leaving. Please, no! And let me know if you've got any other radio ideas, any radio talking points you want me to go through. I'll do it. I'm open to suggestions. Please like, share, and subscribe to the content, folks. I really, really, really do appreciate it. It's brilliant. I love doing this, talking about one of the things I just absolutely love, radio. So have an amazing weekend, everybody. Better late than ever.